Thank you for joining us here on the Spyshack podcast, a podcast where super fans get together to talk about the latest episode of Survivor. It's been a long while, about a year, Kim?
I think a year and a half.
Yeah,
Because when
it's
I
been a
looked
while.
at those hangouts, it was like May 2018. I was like, holy crap. I can't believe it's been so long since we've been doing this. I mean,
Since
our
we did this, yeah.
lives were all over the place, but this season we had to come back for. So
Yes, and definitely since Tony's back, because Tony is where we got our name from. So
yes, and Tony is definitely better this season so far than he
I'm
was.
so glad he's not freaking out like he did in Game Changer.
Oh, I know. Like, he was like going crazy for idols and running, and I was just like, I'm so happy he's changed his game a little and he's not as hyper. He's still Tony, but just a little toned down. Like, I think he realized from his last game that he can't play that way again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even a target. Like, no one's even really talking about targeting Tony yet. I mean, they know he's a threat, but they're not really. I'm just surprised at people who aren't being targeted.
Exactly, and we'll get into that real quick here. Before we do, I once again want to say thank you to everybody who's continued to listen to us, even with the long time frame that we weren't recording. I do want to just say thanks for Kim for joining us here again. Mark will join us again in about 2 weeks, I think, is when he'll be able to come back. He has a lot of the stuff going on in his life. He's been traveling a lot, and Randy is no longer with the podcast. He's still welcome to come on whenever he's able to, but he's actually helping RHAP a lot. So I told him, like, you know what, you go take care of that. That's a lot bigger. Take care of that. If you have time, you're more welcome. You're more than welcome to come back and guest on this podcast. We will be having guests, friends, so the podcast come back and talk to us. Some people that you guys have listened to talk about Survivor in the past. Some friends that we've made here with the podcast that just talk to us in the comments on YouTube. And the way this is going to come out, this will be coming out on Anchor FM first, and then it will be going out to the different podcast groups. And then it will go on to YouTube finally. So YouTube will be the last place where it actually uploads. So if you really want to keep up to date, make sure to follow us on Anchor FM. It will eventually go to Podbean. It'll go to Google Podcasts and on Apple Podcast now. I would ask you all not to use Google Podcasts. It actually does not give us the proper credit for you all listening to it, but if that's the only place you can listen to it, then that's it is what it is. So yeah, Winners at War. Wow, this is one of those seasons that we like Kim said, we had to come back for it. We knew that it was coming, and we tried our best. We couldn't do it last week, but we have 3 episodes now to talk about really quick. Great first 3 weeks, Kim.
Oh God, it was so exciting seeing them come in on the boats and them toasting with the champagne and being told that they were playing for $2 million. So, I mean, they didn't know going out there. So I thought that was pretty fantastic.
I love the fact that everybody was looking at their champagne glasses.
Yes. And another thing that I was surprised about was this was filmed after last season 39. And
season that shall not be named.
Yes, season X, because it was horrible. But Sandra had said that she was out there for 39 days with Rob, and Rob did not tell her. And I was surprised that he didn't. Because if you know Sandra holds grudges. Sandra is not gonna let that go. And he could have said nothing, but he lied to her. So that was surprising. I was surprised, and I wish I knew how much time in between filming was season 39 and this season.
I think it was not right away, like when they finished filming. I think it was only a couple of months though. It wasn't too much of a lag, if I remember correctly.
I don't think so, because Sandra was mad, so it couldn't have been like a year.
No,
You
no,
know
I
what I
think it's
mean?
only.
Where
I
she
think
could have
it's
been
only
like,
like.
oh,
Yeah, I think it's only like 2 or 3 months apart. I believe. From that last season to this season, there's a short time frame between, I believe, the winter season and the summer season. A longer time frame from when they record the winter season again, from between the summer to the winter. So I think they almost go back to back from winter to summer, but not so much from summer to winter. Does that make sense?
yes. And what I want to know is what she told Rob.
For her to be upset I feel like she must have told him
Said
that she
something.
was at least talking to
Considering it.
yeah.
Because she
So
was
let's
pissed
talk about
with
the
her.
cast on this season. We have Natalie, who unfortunately is already gone. We got Jeremy, Nick, Sophie, Adam, Ben, Danny Boatwright, Denise, Ethan, Kim Spradlin, Michelle Fitzgerald, um, Sandra, Sarah, Tony, Tyson, Wendell, Yule, Amber, Poverty, Rob. Am I missing anybody?
No, I don't think so.
I think I got them all. I think I got them all. Hopefully I got them all. If I missed anybody, just forgive me. It's been a while since we did this. Um, you know, I can't say I hate anybody here, but if I was gonna say I could have done without one or two of them, it would have probably been Michelle. And I'm not a big fan of Sophie. On the guy side, I don't like Tyson, but I can deal with him if he's on the season. I like Ethan.
I like
Um,
Ethan. I could have done without Ben.
yeah. The only
And
reason I don't want Ben is because I think Christy should have won that season.
1,000%. I'm telling you, for whatever reason, production loved Ben, because that's when the whole make a fire came in, and that's how he ended up in the finale, because he shouldn't even have been in the finale. It should have
Um,
been Christy and Ryan, and that
at
should
the
have
end
been
of
the
the
finale.
at the end of the day, I kind of like the fire thing, even though it sometimes screws my favorite player that season. Um, because it kind of puts it out there who you would rather go with, and I think it hurts your game to put someone to automatically take somebody that is a goat rather than take someone who is not. Although at the end of the day, if you've upset everybody, I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Um, but if it's a
We've seen
close,
it time and time again
yeah,
where uh, Aubrey should
hmm
have won, but bitter juries put Michelle.
yeah. Well, and we won't hark too much on that, so we'll jump back to this season. First episode. What did you think of the first challenge?
You have to.
It was the going out and fighting for the rings. Um, Wait, was that the first one?
Oh God, that was
That was the
so
first one, right?
intense.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
and I was also focusing on Amber and Rob to see
exactly.
the
Yeah.
reactions, because you have to root against them and then against each other at the same time, but not. So I thought that was difficult. And then I thought, did someone pull someone's hair in the challenge?
Yes, I think they pulled Natalie. No, the Natalie's there.
I think, did Natalie pull? Natalie was involved. I
Yeah,
just don't remember if she was the pulley or had her hair
yeah.
pulled.
I think I know
And
there was, but I mean, I guess in that case, it's kind of like the NFL. If you have long hair, well, too bad you're going to get pulled.
it
Um, it is
was
a thing to watch.
intense.
Yeah, and it's a thing to watch because Natalie dominated in that. I feel. Unfortunately, I don't even remember the name of the tribes anymore, but I'll say the red tribe. The red tribe wins and sends the blue tribe with Boston Rob and Parvati. We see them first, and you know what I like so far in this season is that we see the immunity challenge so early in the episode, and it usually happens like this with the first couple episodes because they can't do both the immunity and reward. But we get so much time on the island afterwards on the beach,
Yes.
and get to see them actually talk to each other actually. And I think it was Rob and Parvati bring it up. It's like these new school guys, they just go around running around and doing things here where they don't get together and actually talk to people, get to know people. And I turned my wife, and this is the reason why I freaking love Boston Rob, because even when he gets in trouble, he's able to talk his way out of it, and like
God,
so
the way
smooth.
he went after Ben, like who said who, and Ben was like, and he didn't know how to handle it, and I was like, this is why Boston Rob is one of the best, because his social, he's also a beast, but everything, and you're just like, Ben, like, how can you just be so dumb? It was like Boston Rob was a celebrity to him.
Exactly. But the thing is, how is it
starstruck?
Exactly. And how is it that Blue Tribe does not vote out Boston Rob right away?
I
or Parvati.
Yeah. I don't understand how they weren't first votes out. I don't. I mean, I get Natalie. I understand because she was a great player and her relationship with Jeremy, but you're still forgetting these old school players who played and won without, hidden immunity idols and all this stuff that was just the old school way. And it's just, it was so great.
And I think at the end, what happened is that since Jeremy and Ben, and they didn't want to throw out a name out there, I think it ended up being Natalie, because it was Adam and Denise that finally threw out a name, where everyone kept asking, "Who is it? Denise? Adam? Denise? Adam?" And no one would throw out a name. It was finally them who threw a name out. And you know what? If you don't want to be the first one out, you don't want to be the first one to name somebody, but you don't also want to leave it out there to where maybe it's your so they might switch it up on you. You want to go in there with a concrete plan.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody likes to go to tribal council first. Like, it's just writing a name down puts a target on you. So it definitely was something that I can understand the fear, but I think, again, it's the fear of the newbies. Because, like, when Boston Rob and Parvati were on the beach and they were basically laughing at the fact that they weren't even a target and they should have been, was fantastic. They were laughing.
Are we working with a bunch of dummies or something?
Yes,
we have to play Survivor for everybody.
And they are. It was just like, holy, and I was so happy. I'm like, please don't let it be Boston Rob or Parvati. Please just don't let them go first.
I don't think Boston Rob or Parvati win, but I feel like for this season they have to stick around for at least up to the merge for this to be a great season. I think it has enough cast to where it can still be a great season without them going early, with them going early. But I feel like
early.
Yeah, they can't go way too early. Same thing with Sandra and Tony. I feel like even though I feel like they will be targets later on, I hope they don't go home early.
Right. I don't want an Adam, Nick, Ben
finale
in the end. Like, I don't.
Although it would be smart for them to get together at the end, probably to be able to take everybody out, because I think that mixture of players can do well together. And the thing, like, look, I will go for Adam especially since he did one of the big favors for us and actually coming on the show at the end of his season. And I will always cheer for Adam, but I don't want him to be with Denise. I would rather him try to get with Boston Rob or somebody that I want to cheer with, so that I'm not cheering against him. Where to the
Right, no,
point where
I understand. I don't want him with Denise either. Um,
Denise is one of
but
those players that I don't necessarily love, but I don't hate either.
yeah, she's just in the middle.
For
Like
me,
yeah, for me too. I don't think that she's one of the best, um, but I don't dislike her. I don't feel like she's a Michelle, and I don't dislike Michelle either. I'm just
the
saying
thing
I
is that
don't.
she's fallen in the background again. I feel this season already. Now that might be because her team has won twice, and when they did lose, she did it up here a little bit, But we'll see what happens if her team does lose again, and we'll see how she does. Hopefully, she does not in the background, because she did kind of allude to that she does not want to be that she does not want to be seen as that person again, and maybe she did do a lot more work when she was out there. We just didn't see it. We'll see if that happens this season.
Right.
So yeah, Natalie goes out. I really like Natalie, and I hate that she went out first. I get it. They want to break up that Jeremy Natalie alliance. However, with the Edge being out there for returning, and I don't dislike the Edge for returning seasons, because I want to continue seeing these people, but I hope it only comes back once at the merge, and that's it. I don't think so. I think it's going to come back again at the end again. But if it's only at the merge, I would not be upset.
Yes, I agree.
Then we go to the next episode. It's we get some more.
She gave. We're forgetting where
She bequeathed.
Natalie gave Sandra the
Oh,
an idol.
she bequeathed the token to Jeremy, but then she gives in the next episode she gives an idol to she sells an idol to Sandra. So Sandra's not without a token
Couldn't have
anymore.
sold it to Jeremy because it had to be on the opposite tribe.
Well, yeah, it had to be on the team that yeah, it had to be the team that was voted out, that was going to tribal that next episode, and I was scared that she was not going to find it. Although, here's a double-edged sword. I like Edge of Extinction. I like them going through it out there by themselves. I don't know how I feel about all the advantages that they're able to throw in. It kind of happened that other season of Edge of Extinction. I don't want it to be filled with so many different advantages coming in from Edge of Extinction. I get it. Maybe they did it so that when they do come back, they're not only tying to, let's say, like with Chris, how he spent all that time with everybody there, and he became their friends out there, and that's how he was able to ultimately win. I mean, he did make a big flashy move at the end, but it was ultimately the friendships he made on the Edge that helped him win all the votes that he did. And I'm hoping that the reason they did this is that maybe this will negate some of that. Maybe some of the bartering and maybe going back and forth with the people on the Edge will help change some of that some of that dynamic. Or I don't know. I'm hoping that they thought of something to try to make it work that way.
Yes, I agree.
What's it called? What do we see here after that? She sells it to Sandra. Sandra accepts
Sandra,
it. Sells,
of course, buys it. Like, who wouldn't?
Did you notice that the idol has 2 fire tokens inside its eyes?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I think it was Jessica who actually tweeted the picture. I believe it was her, and she was like, "I think Adam will be the first one to notice it. If anybody does notice it, it's going to be him that notices that there's 2 free tokens right in the idol." So let's see if people see it. Let's see if we can even take them out, because if they are tokens, if they can't take them out, it's really not worth it.
Yeah.
Unless you sell the freaking idol. So red team loses the second what is it called? The second immunity challenge. What did you think of this challenge? It was that kind of row out there and swim back through the obstacles, and then that old ring toss game at the very end.
This is the one where Rob basically launched people, right?
Yes. Well, the thing is
And
that he was getting pissed at everybody because he was the one row, row, and everybody was going like the opposite direction. He really
he
is the
was
one that did it
he
all, except for the ring.
dominated that, like dominated. He was just. I think that Ben was the first one to go over because I think he helped. Was Ben the first one to get on the other side? Was it?
I
Who was
think
the
so. I
first?
think he was. I think he was. I think he ended up getting on top of Rob, and he launched him over, and then that's what really helped motivate everybody to get on top of Rob's shoulders.
I couldn't believe it because I'm like, Rob has to be in his mid-40s now, right? 40. He's in his
Yes.
40s.
I think he's a little bit older because, well, no. I don't think he's that much older than I am. I think he's about 10 years older than I am. So, yeah.
And I'm just like, this is not a 20-year-old guy. Like, this is an older man, middle-aged, and
Well,
he was dominating it. And I'm just like, holy crap.
well, I'll
Like, it
send my
was
wife
just,
because my wife saw last season, and when she first saw Boston Rob, she didn't know who she was. I'm the one that always has to be the one that tells her what's going on with these players because she didn't start watching until about midway through Game Changers. No,
okay.
Cambodia. And so she doesn't know a lot of these players. She knows that a lot of the new school players.
Yeah, she doesn't know
30 for
best
the
of
last 10 seasons. Yeah, she knows the last 10 seasons pretty much. And then when they went, they did a recap of how Boston Rob did, and she's like, "That's Rob." It looks way different. Like, yeah, he's a little bit flabbier, he's a little bit grayer, but I'm also a little flabbier and a little bit grayer, and I'm about 10 years younger too. So that's fine.
Yeah,
he still works. He still works his charm. He still knows what he's doing.
Now, who did the ring tosses?
It was Jeremy for the blue team. The red team, it was, who was it? Tyson, I believe. It was Tyson.
Did they take? Was it
Tyson and Wendell? It was Tyson and Wendell.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Wendell was involved.
Yeah. And Wendell's one of those players that I love Wendell, but he beat one of my all-time favorites of the last 10 seasons. And so like I want to cheer you on, but I wish Dom was there.
But what's so great is that was a fantastic finale.
It was.
Those were two people that either one deserved to win.
Of the last couple of seasons who were not there, who I would have loved to see be here at this season would have been Dom and Devins.
Devins was one of the best. Like when he was gone again, I was just like, I hate the show. Like I was so mad. I'm like, because what I love is growth. When you see a player literally grow and like transform in front of you, and David is one of them.
Yes. Which, if you guys remember, Kim hated David at the beginning of that season.
Hated him. Like, I couldn't stand him. And then, like, I don't know, it was like episode 4 or 5. I'm like, wait a minute. And I love him. He's one of my favorite players. So it could really change as you watch. If anyone's new watching this show, you could hate a player in the beginning, and then you'll just be like, holy crap, this guy is great, or this woman is really transforming into the show and getting into the game and knowing what to do and changing things. And to me, that is fantastic when you could really change how you feel about a player and watch them adapt to the game and change how they play and realize, wait a minute. And David is it for me.
I do love the fact that you can tell the difference of the gameplay between the old school and the new school.
100%.
And for the old school, it's like, and I don't know how much they're playing it up to the camera, but they're all pretty much all say this is going so dang fast. so much faster than the first time around. Which I think everybody says that the second time they come around, no matter whether it be an all winner or just a all star, or even if it's a captain season, they pretty much say that it goes a lot faster the second time around, especially with the cast now being predominantly super fans. Um, and I don't know, maybe it is a super fan casting because I love to see super fans play, but maybe it's super fans that are making the game move way too fast and making the game itself change, that the show itself change. Because I feel like when they were a little bit cast a little bit differently, a little bit more spread out as far as who was a really big
fan or who they
fan
found on Instagram
versus someone who was out
or
there
in a
for
bar.
adventure. Yeah,
Right.
someone who was out there for adventure. I feel like the players got to know each other a little bit more rather than I don't really get to know you. I need to get to know you to get your vote, but I know you're out here to look for that idol. Let's go look for that idol, whatever. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say, but
I know what you're trying to say, and you know what? I think Jeremy is like that middle ground player because I don't always look at Jeremy as a newbie, even though he is, because he played so long ago.
The thing is that he came with his wife, and then he got that bond with Natalie. So it's like they got to know each other, and we get to know their bond pretty close. I feel, even with the second time around.
Yeah, they're definitely very, very close, and I wonder. No one looked surprised by who was on the show, so
only Amber. Not Amber being surprised, but everybody's surprised that Amber is there with Rob.
Yes, well, Sandra definitely was surprised to see Rob. So, like, I wonder who knew and who didn't know. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, was there a rule, like, because who had alliances before the show even started? You know, like, that's what I wonder.
That's the thing. And as much as I love returning players when it's done once every 7 seasons or something like that, where it's not every other season there's a returning player or a group of returning players, you know? And the reason is because I feel like they're already close enough as part of Survivor, but when they play multiple times together, since the last time there was a big like this one, like from Cambodia to now, from Survivor 20 to 30 to 40 now, 31 to 40. There's been a lot of players that played again a couple times in the between, that now they have their perceptions as what do I want to play with them again? Do I hate them? Do I want to go at them?
Right.
Whereas if they were more spread out, maybe they don't go in there with that. Like I said, although I know that some of them are already friends and talk to each other very often. It's just hard.
Like Sarah and Tony are really close too.
Exactly. And I want to talk about Sarah a little bit later, but I really like Sarah, and I'll say that right now from even from Game Changers. And I think everyone gave me trash about saying that I feel like she did one of the better jobs in her seasons to win the game. But I'll still stand by that at this point. But we'll go into it a little bit later at the end of this episode. At the end of episode 2, Amber goes home. I don't think it's a surprise. I don't think anybody is surprised that this happened.
No, I don't think so either. Especially with Sandra.
The thing with Sandra is, even you can be her best friend, but Sandra knows how to separate the game from your friendship.
Yes, and absolutely. And this is why she's won twice.
Exactly. She doesn't care if you're her best friend. She's going to cut your throat when it comes time to cut your throat. And we can say everything about
need to do. It's $1 million or $2 million. I mean, I don't need to be your friend in this game. Like, we'll be friends when we go home. You know, I'll come to your kid's birthday, but right now I want my money.
My wife doesn't like Sandra.
Is it because you love Sandra so much, though?
No, I think it's her cockiness a little. But I go.
That's what I like about Sandra. Like
I don't consider her cocky. I think she plays the character. I think
She knows
she's
what we want.
I think she's very upfront with what she thinks, and I do think that kind of rubs people the wrong way. Um, but at the very end, I think she plays into her character a lot, and I really do enjoy her playing into her character. But on top of that, she knows the game. She knows how to win. She knows how not to get voted out. And what did we calculate last time? It was like 90 days from the first time she played to the first time she was voted out.
Yeah, and and
Not
what
90
was
days, it
so
was like
funny
70
was
days.
she wasn't in that challenge that just ended,
Hmm.
and she
Which happened a
was
lot in her seasons.
she was hilarious. The way,
Bam, pay attention. Well, no, Tony, right? No, who was it?
yeah, I think it was Tony.
Yeah.
It was just her on the sidelines doing nothing and criticizing them, and then I'm like, this is why she's so great.
And I love Sanderson the very first time I saw her. The very first time, the very first episode, and on Pearl Islands, when she started talking Spanish and started dealing, and she started just cracking me up. I was like, man, I hope she goes far. And she ended up winning. Although I did like Rupert as well from the very beginning. I don't like Rupert as much now.
I was never a big Rupert fan.
Well, see, when I first started watching Survivor, I was all about the hero, the whether it be the man or the woman. Even though they usually cast the man, that stereotype of the hero man that was there. And as Survivor progressed, I started liking more of the villain, kind of.
Right.
And now I'm back in the middle.
A villain fan. There are times that I wasn't the hero fan. Season 2, I mean, it was 2 heroes in the end. Colby and Tina?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, those were 2.
I mean, what Tina, was she technically a hero? I feel like she was very wallfly for the most of that season.
Maybe. And I know that Colby picked Tina.
Keith, he could have taken Keith.
Right, and
he would have been the villain. He was by far the villain of that season, of that tribe.
Right, and then he picked Tina knowing that he would probably lose.
Yeah, and Tina actually bought him a motorcycle because of that.
Did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tina's gone through a lot since her season.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of good that she won.
So Amber goes home. No one's surprised about that. She bequeaths. I'm gonna keep saying that word because that's what they're using. She bequeathed her fire token to Rob, and of course, Robin right away. Rob, when he sees his bag, he knows exactly what it is, and he's like, I don't have a good feeling. And I think that really leads into this episode. I feel like once he finally actually sees that Amber has been voted out, I think he is so distraught, so bummed out that because we'll just jump to the new to the next challenge. He really did bad, and he
was horrible.
The only thing I could think of is one of two things. He was just so distraught at Amber being that he wasn't thinking straight, or he was throwing that challenge. But I don't see why he would throw that challenge.
No, I don't think he would throw a challenge. He's not that bad. He's not that stupid. I think.
Well, the thing is that he's not that bad at
puzzles. That Amber was gone. He knew going in, and then you saw that look. He looked angry. He was fuming that Amber was gone. And I think it threw off his game. He couldn't focus on the puzzle. And I don't know why they chose him to do a puzzle. Because
I think he's really good at puzzles, though.
Not this time. I mean,
not this time. No. He sucks this time.
I understand what he was going for. I get that. He thought if we separated, then we're gonna just get it right away. And I can try to understand, because if you ever do a puzzle,
that usually works.
You'll put the corners and you'll separate the outside right away. Because you'll be like, oh, these are the flats, these are the outside.
The thing is that on the other side,
what he was thinking. He was thinking, I'm going to put all this here, and then I'm going to get it right away.
The thing is that on the other side, you had Sandra and Sophie. So, and that's not usually who you play against for these puzzles. And I feel like those two are really great at doing these things. Like,
Yeah,
because Sandra can't, for the most part, she can't do much of the physical stuff, but
no.
but she will pitch in when she has to, when it has to do with puzzles and all. And Sophie's just so smart. I'll be honest with you, like I said, I don't like Sophie. I don't really like Sophie. I don't. If the podcast is on and she's on it, her voice grates me a little. I don't dislike her. I don't hate her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Sophie. Although I didn't mind her winning over Coach that season. And we got to talk about Yul and her in a little bit, but yeah, Rob did really bad.
Yeah.
And I guess we missed over the two idol finds. We skipped over the two idol finds.
Oh yeah, we did. That's right. Denise found one with Ben.
The half idols.
Yeah, the half idols, and then
was Kim. Oh, Kim, San Antonio, representing San Antonio.
Yeah, she found it, and then Kim told Sophie,
which I think was the worst move.
I don't understand. And who did she give the other half to? It wasn't Sophie.
Yeah, she gave it to Sophie.
Oh, so dumb.
She gave it to Sophie, but they agreed to bury it in the same spot.
And I mean, I thought it was a good idea that Denise gave it to Adam over Ben. Because Ben's
that was all Ben's idea, though. I'll give credit to Ben on that spot, because I feel Ben has been playing horribly so far.
Yeah, he has, but I think that he knew what he was doing there.
Exactly.
He knew what he was doing there. I'll give him that, but other than that, he's really bad.
And he almost messed himself up, because the blue team goes, and I'll remember the tribe name next time. I think Sella or something like that. I forgot what
it's Seal, like Selle, like Selly, or
yeah. I'll remember for next time. But that team goes to Tribal Council. Before the Tribal Council, then this is another thing where even though Boston Rob messed up so bad, everybody still comes up to him and talks to him about what's going on. And if you notice, he's in the same spot every single time. He's playing that little game that I haven't seen that game played on Survivor in like forever. I don't know. I forgot what season it was the last time I saw it, where they kind of just tie that thing, little bamboo thing, and they try to make it onto the hook, whatever. I don't even know if that's how you play it, but I'm just saying that's how I've seen it played. But I haven't seen that in a long time.
We're also skipping over when Danny was talking to Ethan and Ben.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that. Yes. I was getting to that.
Yeah, Danny's an idiot.
Danny, I don't mind Danny. But I feel like that's another season. I feel Steph should have won that season.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, first of all, I really, really like Steph in that season. I didn't like her after when she returned for Heroes versus Villains. But I liked her in that season and the season before Palau. And Guatemala actually is one of my favorite seasons. I feel like it's one of the most drastically and most criminally underrated seasons of all time. But she did really bad in this episode. Really bad.
Yeah, I mean, she got paranoid.
The thing is, I get it.
And then she started, I mean, like, how she even talked about old school and new school, and like, Ben is standing right there.
Was it either like, you know who this guy is? Come on. What the heck?
And I think that was it for her.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't a target.
The thing is,
talking about her.
The thing is that Ben, you saw Ben like, what? And then you saw Ethan, and he's like, "Oh, you idiot!"
Ben would have been the target.
I think so too. Based on the tribal, I believe he would have been the target. I believe he would have been the one that goes home.
Yeah, he was definitely the target, and I think that Danny just blew it, like, because she went to target poverty, and
I get what she was coming from when she was like, look at everybody talking to each other and I'm over here by myself. Well, you know what? I feel in those situations, I don't like when players are sitting by themselves and they're talking about everybody, how Nobody's talking to them. Well, you know what? Go over there and talk to them. Go over there and be in those conversations. It's different with like Kim when she saw that everybody was talking and she showed up and everybody got silent. That's different, because nobody's wanting to talk to you. But when you're sitting on your own and then people are talking and you don't go up to them and talk to them, see, they are talking. Maybe they are talking about you, but at least you get a feeling if they really are targeting you or
She
not.
could have felt poverty out.
Exactly.
But she didn't. She just immediately thought, this is it. They're coming after me, and I'm going to go after them.
Yep.
But then Tribal was crazy. Like, I don't know how dumb Ben is. Like, it was just shocking. I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I think
They almost caught him.
I know. I think that he is really nervous. I think that he sees these, like, Boston Rob and Poverty and Ethan, and I feel that he is just overwhelmed. Like, he's just like, I can't believe I'm playing with them.
The thing is, I can talk. I can talk and make fun of Ben all the line, but I'll probably be acting the same way.
I know, right?
Because I love Survivor so much, and I all these winners, I would be like, I don't deserve to be here.
So I think that's where Ben is coming from. I think if Ben makes it to the merge, which I don't see happening, I think he'll do better.
And what I do like is that people who should be targets, like Sandra, Tony, Boston Rob, Parvati, even Ben, they're not really going, at least they're not showing us, they're not really taking the time to go out there and look for idols. They don't want to put a bigger target on their back than they have to. Although Ben, this episode, he did look for an idol, but he was more kind of helping Denise out. And that's where Denise found her split idol.
Right. I'm not crazy about the split idols. I mean, except for...
I like the super idol better.
What was... My God, I'm too horrible with names. What was his name?
Mike?
No. Dr. The one Mike? That had the half idol, and then they thought he was going to use it. And
Ty. Ty and
that was one of my favorite moments ever.
Jason. Todd and Jason, and I forgot the other guy's name. The big guy.
Oh yeah, I couldn't stand them.
Yeah, I actually that's one of the seasons where I actually liked Jason as a villain. And I don't know if I like him so much afterwards, but I think as a villain, I think I did enjoy him being there. And actually, towards the end, I actually was rooting for him to win, but I knew he was not going to win. There was no way they were going to let him win.
I didn't like them at all. I didn't. Nope. And then they were bitter and voted for Michelle. So,
and that's why I say I'm no longer on one side or the other. I think the person that got me back off of the villains being so heavy villain was Russell, because I really liked his first season, and every season he came back after that, he's just tarnished his reputation, I believe.
Russell should have won the first season.
Yeah, I think so too. But then he just messed it up. The second time around he came, the third time around, and then when he went to Australia, he did it even worse. So,
and then his crazy nephew. Holy crap!
Yeah. From what I understand, Brandon was actually the first one to get booted. From what I'm hearing now, they just made it look like they voted him off there at the challenge.
Well, we know Brandon said he was going to leave. But
well, that's what I'm saying.
Really, the first one to probably being told you have to go.
Yeah, the thing is that I think they, and this is all hearsay for what I'm hearing, but what I'm hearing and what I've read is that he was actually booted, but they filmed it to make it look like he quit.
Yeah.
So if that is true, then Dan is actually the second person to get booted.
Yeah, I believe that, because it was
I think he was about to go.
It was at what's it called? The challenge, where
they didn't even play the challenge that time, did they?
No, he didn't. He left before it. He didn't play it.
Yeah. I think he was about to go off the deep end on that season, and
because he was married, and then like he was like feeling some girl, and it like really like messed up his head. But he is definitely I wouldn't even say. He's worse than Russell.
Yeah.
He's just not a good dude.
And actually, on his first season, people are actually saying that he might have won if he would have made it to the end against Sophie. I've read a couple things online, and they say that interviewing people, he was actually very liked. If he would have gone against Sophie,
He wasn't horrible in his first season.
No. I think the other thing is that he became too much of an acolyte to coach.
Yeah,
and we're going off.
Yeah, we gotta go.
So, yeah, Ben almost screws himself over.
Idiot.
I actually thought,
I honestly didn't know what was going on. Well, I thought maybe Tribal was edited a certain way because when they were whispering,
that's what I was gonna say.
I didn't feel like they wanted us to think it was about Ben, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's not enough reaction. And what's his name?
I feel like if it was going to be Danny or if it was going to be Ben, they would have subtitled it, and they choose when they want to subtitle what they're saying and when they don't want to subtitle it to try to throw us off, I believe. And sometimes they'll subtitle
and I felt
it.
like there was just something there. Like they want us to think they're whispering about Ben. I go, but they're not. I go, this is. I
think Rob was telling them.
Said something. Probes would have been like, "Whoa!"
Well, he might have. But what's it called? I think he was telling Jeremy, we're gonna go out we're gonna go Danny.
Oh, and then when Rob said, "Empty your bags," I think he's just so good. And
then everybody does it. Everybody does it. I saw on Twitter today. I saw it today, but it was Sarah who tweeted when Rob says to empty out your bag, and it's I forgot who it is. It's someone flicking off the camera. The thing is that if you choose not to empty your bag when your whole tribe is emptying your bag, then you wouldn't
look like you have the idol.
Exactly.
But
although Adam,
see it.
I think Adam was so upset about it that he almost put a target. I think if he would have continued, he would have definitely put a target on his back. But the fact that they were so far away from everybody else, I think that helped them a little. With Denise being able to hide it, because I don't even think she did a good job at hiding it, but because of where she sat, I think it gave her some help there.
Yes, that I agree with. I think that's what helped her, was she was far enough from Boston Rob. But Boston Rob should have just walked around and looked. But he didn't. I think walked around, and I would have been like, let me see.
I think he knows when to calm down and when to not do something like that. So I think he restrained himself on doing that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did do that. He just didn't see it. I don't know. We didn't see it. So Danny is the third person voted out of Winners at War. She is now going out to Edge of Extinction, and she bequeathed her token to, who was it that she gave it to?
I don't know.
I already forgot.
I think it was someone on her tribe. It was Jeremy. No, it was.
I don't remember. Oh, Denise. She gave it to Denise.
That's it.
Yeah, she gave it to Denise. We'll see how she does out there. I wonder if anybody this season will pull that flat. I feel like anybody who does that is scared of tarnishing the reputation and quitting. So I don't think they will. I think it's going to be, it has to be something drastic for them to pull that sale.
Yeah, like they got hurt.
Yeah. All right, so we got about 10 minutes because we don't want to go over the hour, but we already did. But we did talk about three episodes. So, let's talk about some of the people we haven't really talked about. I said I wanted to talk about Yul and Sophie getting together. I really like Yul.
He's good. He's definitely a very good social player.
The thing with Yul is that he's so good, he's so smart, that you think by talking to him that he's not social player because he's so like robotic. But I think he can break down social games so well and he actually gets on people's good side. And I feel like whereas someone else who would have been sounding like he's very what's it called? Someone else would have saying the same thing he said, like, "Oh, this guy's thinking too much. I can't keep him around." Whereas Yule would be like, he's so nice and so well composed that I feel like people like him so much that they won't boot him.
Do you think that wasn't he targeting Tyson? Was that who he was targeting?
I think he threw out Kim. You know what? It was either Kim, Tyson, or Amber because he said that they had that
the poker alliance. Yeah. That's right.
So yeah,
and I don't put much credit into the poker alliance. I think it was just they were playing poker, and it was just like, oh, if we ever play again, we'll be in a lot. You know what? I think it was just something they said. It's just
something that Tyson said that just ended up coming back and biting him in the butt.
Yes, I really don't think there was anything behind it.
Tyson's another one of those players that I really didn't like him in Tocantins. I think he was really mean-spirited, and I didn't like him. When he came back for Heroes versus Villains, I really loved the way they voted him out. He voted himself out pretty much by switching his vote. And then when he came back for Blood versus Water, I didn't like him until until he realized how to turn the duel around to his advantage.
Yeah.
Where he would be like, you know what? If they do vote out Rachel, I'll just take her spot and I'll come back in this game. I don't remember if he ended up doing it or not, but he was willing to. He was able to think about it and see like, who do we vote out? Who will not get whose loved one will not switch places with them? And I believe that season really turned into like they were able to break that mechanic of the game and really use it to their advantage. And that's something that I liked about that season. Although I'm not a big fan of Tyson overall, I think he did really well in that season.
Yeah.
But Yule, I really like Yule. Like I said before, I don't really like Sophie, but I feel like together they could make it far if people don't get too paranoid and boot them. I think we heard Tony say that he wants to use them as the nerd shield. I think it was, yeah. Who do you want to talk about who's still left in the game?
We talked about Sarah.
I still want to talk about Sarah again.
Then we can talk about Sarah.
Okay, Sarah and Tony. I hope
they're a great pair.
Yeah, I really do hope that they stick together. I feel Tony's best shot is to stick with Sarah, and I actually think Sarah. For me, my winner pick this season is Sarah.
I have Sarah in my draft.
Mm-hmm. I really think that she has what it takes to do it again, because she played a really good game the second time around. She was able to get to know people. She was able to know when to cut their throats, and I think right now, as long as Tony and her do not make it seem like they're too buddy, people will not see that they're working together. Although Tony is willing to just throw that under the bus.
But I don't think he will.
But Tony is so 100% much better than in Game Changers. I'm glad
so bad.
Tony's another one. I did not like him his first season. I did not like him.
See, I loved Tony. The llamas. I mean, it was just such a great season.
That season was my blind spot in Survivor. That's when I moved. And I missed about half the season, and I had to catch up on it right before the finale. And I feel that part of that was so when Game Changers came around. Like I said before, that day when I first chose Sarah, I didn't know much about Sarah. It was during that season that I really liked Sarah, and I remembered Sarah of getting voting herself out by not cementing an alliance. She was riding the fence, and she caused her own elimination, but. I think she did well in Game Changers, and I'm really a big fan of Sarah now. I think Sandra.
I'm a fan of Sarah, but I love Tony his first season.
Yeah, and I think Sandra. Needs to join them. I think that is going to be her saving graces if she's able to get with Sarah and with Tony, and as long as they're able to work together without making it seem like they're working together. just the way Sarah and Tony are working right now. And I think Sandra and Tony said that we cannot go at each other again because that pretty much blew our games up the first time around. The second time, I guess, the last time around. Who else is out there we didn't talk about that we would want to talk about? Wendell. I think Wendell's doing okay. I don't have much to talk about.
I think Wendell. No one's really talking about targeting Wendell.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's going to be safe for a while. Kim, she's been brought up. Jeremy has been brought up.
I think people are too scared of Kim for her to make it too much further. I think she can make it to merge, but after that, I don't think she makes it too much further. I think people are too scared of how she played and dominated the first time around. Not my favorite season either, but it's about the middle road for me that season. Yeah, I mean, she is San Antonio, so I will continue to go for her because she represents my city. So I will definitely continue to go for her though.
Tony represents Jersey. So. And who are we forgetting? God, there's so many players. We talked about Adam.
We didn't
really talk about Nick, but they don't really.
Nick has
focus on Nick.
Yeah, Nick's been a little purple this season so far. Michelle, we kind of talked about her. Tony, Tyson, Wendell, Yule. I think we've talked pretty much about everybody. Once again, I'm surprised Parvati hasn't been targeted. The thing with Parvati is I can't believe they haven't gone after her. I feel like she is a younger version of Sandra, except that she used in her past she's used her looks to manipulate the guys. Whereas now she's a little bit older. She's a mom. She doesn't want to do that.
Married, so she can't really.
She can still do it, but you can't really do that game with a bunch of winners. They know you.
Yeah.
And I think she's so far what we've seen.
And I don't think there's nobody. Is everybody like married or in relate? A lot of them must be in
relation. Pretty much. Yeah, except for probably the newer people.
Yeah, like because nobody's flirting. There's no any of that.
I like that though. I like that.
Oh, I like it better. I don't like showmances or any of that.
Yeah. Overall,
there's no fun.
Overall, I love this season so far. I can't wait to get to other episodes.
I just have something very quick to say.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on? Oh my God, what's his name? The one who won Survivor first.
Richard?
Oh my God. Richard, did you see his video?
I didn't see it.
Did you hear about it?
I did hear about it. The thing is that I believe Richard should have been invited. I get why if he did get invited, I do get why he was uninvited right after what happened with Dan. Especially what happened with him and Sue in their season. And I understand that he says that it was totally misrepresented and that Sue was actually the one that was trying to make money off of it. I get it. We don't know the truth. Only he knows the truth, Sue knows the truth, and CBS knows the truth. And I guess the other people that were around there, they're the ones that can really tell us if it really happened or not.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how far Richard would have gone. I think he would have been an early vote just because he's old.
I think he's too full. I think while he can be considered the father of the Survivor winners, the king of Survivor winners, because he's the first one, I don't think he would have made it far. I think he's too cocky, and even though that worked for his advantage the first time around, and he was cocky the first time around, I don't think that would have flown with these guys. I think he would have been a nerdy target.
He would have his lack of physical skills, I think, would have made him also an early.
Yeah. Yes, I do want to bring up.
They also said that Tina was invited back, and then they took that back too.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm okay without Tina there. Not that I don't like.
Yeah, is there any winners that you would have wanted? That you don't have?
Let's see. I wouldn't want Vesepia back. I wouldn't want Brian. I don't think he's ever coming back. I'm surprised. What's her name? Jenna didn't come back, but although I don't think she would have done that well. Sandra's back. Amber was back. Oh, you know what? Chris from Vanuatu. I've been wanting him to come back for such a long time, and I want to see him back, but I don't know if he'll ever come back or not. Tom, I'm okay without Tom. Danny got her back. We've gone Aris back, but I don't really care for Aris. What was after Exile Island? I was trying to go through them like that, but I'm blanking right now. But I'm not really thinking of any much that I really could have.
Somebody I was thinking of the other day.
Oh, Mike! I wouldn't mind Mike coming back. I don't know. People don't really like him.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of.
People don't like him and his voice. I think people really dislike his voice.
He was a challenge beast.
He one of the first.
Basically won the season.
Yeah,
because he kept on winning every immunity.
Stuff, though. He did it to himself. He alienated himself, but he pulled it out when he had to. What's it called?
I'm not a big Mike Holloway fan. As a person, I don't really like him.
I liked him on Survivor.
I liked him on Survivor. I don't like him post Survivor.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones that I think would have made a good return, but not really. I'm not really think of anybody else.
I wonder who said no. I mean, I wonder if Mike Holloway was even asked. I don't know.
I wonder if Chris was asked. I feel like he hasn't come back for a reason, and I feel like he doesn't want to come back. Although he's one of my favorites. I'm blanking right now of anybody. I'm sure after this is over, we'll come up. But going back to that whole Richard thing, I did want to say something as far as how much we've grown as far as a community. I think when the whole Richard Sue thing, this is assuming it happened as we saw it on TV. I think mostly everybody was jumping on Sue and that she was overreacting, and that Richard really was just doing it as a joke. And I think at that time, that's how Survivor saw it. That's how the community saw it, for the most part. Now I feel.
I also think the fact that he was a gay man.
Where he didn't do it as
him more
because he didn't do it as a sexual advance.
Yes, as Dan did.
But nowadays, I feel like what happened, especially what happened with Dan, even though the touching that he was doing may not have been sexual, even though he might not have meant it to be sexual, he kept touching people when he was asked not to.
Yep. And
that is enough. And I feel like the community, for the most part, not everybody. Some people were pissed that Dan got booted, but I think
really?
This is really one of the reasons why I stopped.
They should have booted him
a long time ago,
way before that.
And I think Survivor did learn, and I think they didn't act 100% the way they should have acted, but I feel like they did eventually not only do what they were supposed to do, even though it was late, but they learned from it. And this is, once again, this is taking everything that we saw and we know at face value. So I think that if that same situation with Richard and with Sue would happen right now, I don't think the fans would put up with it anymore.
No.
We are now.
I don't think we'll ever see a naked player again.
Well, if you see starting Survivor, you see them all the time now. But the thing is, I think we've grown. I think we know a little bit more. We are a little bit more compassionate, I feel. And even though there's I think it's a minority that don't think that people think that there was nothing wrong that happened or whatever. I think a majority do feel that there was wrongdoing last season, and that if it were to happen again, what happened in All Stars, that it would not fly anymore. And I would hope that that is the case. And I would hope that Survivor would kick Richard out if it happened again. Once again, this is saying, given everything at face value, that what we saw really happened. Whether Richard is right and that he didn't do it on purpose or whatever, if he actually went out there with the intention of doing that, I still feel that he deserved not to get invited for the season.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And that's my PSA. We did go over an hour. We're going to be trying to do this in actually about 30 minutes, 45 minutes at the most. Like I said before, this was 3 episodes, so we did go super long. We did an hour, 5 minutes at this point now. Let us know what y'all thought. And we might, if you go ahead and drop us a like or whatever, let us know, and we'll go ahead and make sure to thank you on the air. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to come back, and I'm eventually going to try to do this to see if we can do this both recording and do this live on YouTube. But I have to. It's been a while since we did the YouTube thing. It's changed from the last time. So that's why we're doing this way for now until I go ahead and set it all up so we can do it live on YouTube. So I want to go thank you guys once again. Let us know who you got to the winners. My winner pick is Sarah this season.
I think she's a good pick. I can see Sarah winning, so I'll stick with Sarah right now.
We'll see what that changes.
It's a good choice.
I think
we'll know in 2 weeks.
Let's lock in our winner choice. The only time you can change it is as long as your winner choice hasn't been kicked out.
And then next week we'll start doing the MVP of the season.
Yes,
of the episode.
And next week we should have we might have a guest or two, maybe even 2 guests to help us out. Help save my voice. My voice is feeling a little sore right now already after talking for an hour. So hopefully,
it's 11:30 over here on the East Coast.
Exactly, yeah. So, guys, thank you once again, and thank you for those who are sticking around and coming back to listen to us again. We'll see you guys next week with episode 4. What is it? I don't even know if it's episode 3 or episode 4 now because of the way Survivor does it. The next episode of Survivor. We'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.